Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on your radio. Hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, no doubt, continues now. This is the broadcast for April 1st in the year of our Lord 2025. And I ain't fooling. We're live and on your radio, and it's hour 2 at 2, and our goal always to protect life, liberty, and property, to promote God, family, and country, and to do so in the traditions of our founding fathers. We reject revolution. Unless it's a Jesus revolution, then we're in, because we follow the Prince of Peace. The good Sheriff Richard Max with me, with the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. Join the posse today. And we've got a cool guest to introduce. You remember when Trump was speaking to Congress? It wasn't the State of the Union because it was his first address for 47, if you will. And so it's kind of a, hey, here's what we're thinking, Congress. Here's what we want to do. Anyway, Donald Trump was briefing the nation. And the Democrats, sadly, took partisan politics to a new level, in my opinion, to a new low. I mean, it's a disgrace. I'm not really a Republican guy. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just an American, okay? So I don't see things in left, right, you know, this party, that party. I believe the party's over. The founding fathers were against parties, and so am I. I digress, except to say President Trump did a marvelous thing, and he brought up a kid, and he said, hey, you know what? We're going to make a difference for this kid in his life. And he told the kid's story, and then Trump makes 13-year-old cancer survivor an honorary Secret Service agent. What's his name? DJ Daniel. Anyway, it was really cool. And what startled me the most is this, to me, transcends partisan politics. This, to me, is a clarion call for civility. We're talking about a kid here. We're talking about a kid with hopes and dreams. The kid's a cancer survivor. I mean, what on earth is there not to like? These clowns literally stood against this, and it shocked me to the core of what a low we've gone to in America. Our guest today is DJ's proud father, Theodis Daniel. Welcome to Liberty Roundtable Live, sir.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Tell me, just unfold the story to me, how this all happened from the start as a father. What went down? How did it go before we got wind of it on the national stage when Trump addressed Congress?
Well, I was minding my business and my phone rang, and there was a lady on the phone, and she said her name was Brett Powell, and that she was like chief of staff for President Trump, and I was like, okay, this is a prank call. So I went on and let her finish, and she said, well, we'd like to know President Trump and the First Lady, Miss Melania, would like to have you as a personal guest at the joint session, the speech deal. And I was like, okay, all right. So I'm saying to myself, this has got to be a prank call. I was starting to hang up the phone, but I went on and finished, and then she says, well, do you have an email? I said, sure. I gave her the email. She said, can you check your email? Would that date be okay for you? And I'm thinking to myself, well, you already bought the tickets, you know. I was, okay, well, who do I look like telling President Trump no? Of course we can go. So we went, and we didn't have any information as to what was happening or nothing. So when the day that we all of us that were in attendance as guests, Lincoln Riley's family, Jocelyn's mother, Jason and his family, Mr. Ortiz, the family from Butler, and a whole host of other folks that was there, we didn't know what was going on. And so it came time for us to go to the house there for the speech. And so we saw everybody down there. We noticed, like, when President Trump was walking through, there was one side of the room that wasn't standing up, clapping or nothing. And, we didn't know, like I said, we didn't know what was going on. But then when President Trump started speaking, and I know he mentioned, he said, well, if we would come up with the cure for the most, basically the nastiest disease you can figure out that could just kill mankind, they still wouldn't stand up. I mean, still wouldn't support me or whatever. So when he went through and was telling about recognizing Lincoln Riley's family, and we noticed that other area of the room was kind of dead and flat, we started paying attention, and then it came to Johnson's mother, and President Trump was saying that they had dedicated that wildlife basin in honor of Jocelyn, and nobody stood up. Then then finally got to me and DeVarjay, and I'm looking over there like, wait a minute, these people really not sitting up here, standing up or nothing. And I was like, okay. So DeVarjay didn't catch on to what was going on until afterwards. And I said to myself, now I know I broke my neck, and I went down to the lint in my pockets to take my son to photo ops, all kind of events for those people that are sitting on their hands, and it just burned me up. So I said to myself, I said, so these are the people that their loyal voters went out and voted for them and put them in this position, and they're just sitting down. I'm saying to myself, well, if they're going to sit down and won't stand up for this, what makes you think they're going to stand up for you as the voter? So it just started, all hell broke loose after that. We became enemy number one. They don't like us. I said to everybody, well, they drew first blood. What you want me to do? They act like babies. I've never seen people that have like zero compassion. They try to turn it into a political thing, and it never was political because we didn't know who was Democrat, Republican in the first place. And so it was a beautiful moment.
Not only do we not know, we don't care who is, right?
Oh yeah, it didn't matter at that moment, you know. And personal differences and griefs and stuff, you should keep that outside of there and still have respect for the position. They may not like Donald Trump, but you need to respect President Donald Trump in full capacity. That's just it, you know. He got elected, okay, respect it. Respect the House decorum. They didn't have none of that. If you was in a protest, you should have done that outside there, because I swear if I was House Speaker, I would have put them all out of there. They'd have to go. They'd have to go. I'm sorry. I have zero tolerance for stupidity like that. And that's so childish. And you wonder why we have all this confusion out in the world and the community today. Because you have people like that feel like they're entitled to act like 3-year-old babies and throw tantrums because you don't agree with them or they don't like what you say. And then all hell breaks loose after that.
Sheriff, I'm digging the conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And do you go by Thaddeus or Thad or Thadia? How do you say your name?
It's Theodis, sir. You call me just Theo. It's easier.
Theodis.
Theodis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on. I did see that part of Congress, and when the Democrats refused to acknowledge your presence or your son's, and they didn't even sit there and clap, but like you said, they just sat on their hands. I think that exemplified how far our politics has gone and how debased politics has gone. And this Republican versus Democrat thing has gone too far. And this should have been something, just as you have said, this should have been something that was not political. And did Trump want you there to just say and honor you and your son? Yes. And I think he had a motive to show to the world what the Democrats are really made of, because I think he knew they were going to do that, and they played right into his hands. And I'm glad he had you there. I'm glad he was honoring you and your son. And this time the Democrats went too far, and now who are they mad at? Not the Democrats who did it, but they're mad at you and your son. Absolutely yes, astonishing.
Yes, yeah. Yes, sir. I mean, they just won't let up. I mean,
no.
I mean, I've already put it out there, so they know that I don't care about no more. I'm gonna be honest with you, we haven't done it. We've been on this for almost 5 years, and it's actually all the interactions with everybody's keeping him here. My son is still battling cancer. He's got 3 new tumors. It's metastasized, relapsed, and reoccurred. He's had 13 brain surgeries, advanced stages of cataracts, and he is the study and the patient that was utilized to have the medicine approved through FDA. So DeVarjay's got a lot of stuff going on, and all he wants to do is just show appreciation to people, show love to people, and just appreciate everything. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life, how bad it is. He just want to show you, look, I'm 13 and I'm going through all this, and I'm not ugly and mean to people, but these folks they don't get it. They don't understand what I had to deal with when the doctor told me that he had 5 months to live. That's the last thing from my generation, which we were raised to be men, and we didn't have no excuses for nothing. You just had to fix the problem, get it done, and that's it. And so Daddy couldn't fix this. So I've had a lot of days to myself trying to figure things out, but for them to sit there and do something like that, that just shows me, me as a veteran, it really put a bad taste in my mouth, because this is not what I joined the military for these people to sit here and disrespect us like this. I stand up every time the national anthem goes on. I stop whenever I literally be in full stride, and I freeze and I stand there and I give the respect. But these folks is on something else. You've got grown Congress women. There's one woman named Jasmine Crockett. She goes and makes some nasty comments about my son, and now you look for it on the internet, all of a sudden you can't find it. But she know what she said. I heard the word disgusting and some other stuff that she had said about my son. You got the Breakfast Club making fun of his scars, Charlamagne the God, and Justin Hilarious and the rest of the crew. You got Naomi, whatever her name is, the news anchor. She's clowning him, and then you got Mad Al, which I jumped on top of her bumper, and she hadn't said anything back. But you're bullying a 13-year-old terminally ill child that's battling for his life every day, and you a grown person, hadn't joined the military or nothing, but then you got all the more to say. I just don't
you
get
say
this.
that your son is DJ, right?
Yes, the DJ.
And
the
he's in school today?
Oh yeah, he's in school. He likes going to school, so I just let him go.
Well, good for him. Yeah, good for him.
Well, and our prayers are with him and his cancer and his it's going to be difficult for him, and we know that, but our prayers are with him. It's something we would never in our wildest nightmares mock. It's something where our prayers are with him. The nation should be behind him. And whether you like or dislike President Trump, ladies and gentlemen, in my mind, Trump makes 13-year-old cancer survivor DJ Daniel an honorary Secret Service agent. This is kind of fulfilling a dream for this kid, right? I mean, this is real.
Yep, it's very real. I mean, you saw the look on his face.
Did he know in advance?
No, we didn't know anything. We didn't know anything. I know when it came time for him, and he heard his name, so he stood up, and then that's all I thought it was. And then when President Trump had said that, and I looked around, I was confused myself. That's why I picked him up. But I leaned over to him when I picked him. I said, "Dude, you need to lay off them honey buns." Boy, he was heavy, and so I put him back down, readjusted him, and then I picked him up.
That's funny. That's great. Well, at least he gets some enjoyment in life, right?
Oh yeah.
Be able to go to school, the honey buns, spending time with his dad, being recognized by the President of the United States. What an incredible honor that is. And it baffles me how they can dissent from this and not even set aside politics. I mean, even at Christmas, in the middle of a war with the Germans, we heard that they laid down their weapons and sang songs and gave it a moment of we're beyond this. Can't they get there, do you think?
They're not going to be, not this new age Democratic group. I mean, the older Democratic group probably so, but we have to give credit to credence now. We did have one honorable attendee that was a Democrat. I think the last name was Lauren Gillum, I believe. She's from Long Island, and I think everybody should, send her a letter. And it took some some backbone for her to sit there and stand up by herself. And I'm sure she's catching backlash from the party, but I mean, she stood up for divorce.
She's right.
I really, she's the only one, and that's the type of person that we need. We don't need no people that's all in their feelings and getting up and trying to make decisions. That's why we can't go further than where we are. We should be way further ahead than where we're at. But you got people over here that's got their agendas worrying about something that's not that important when we got other fish to fry, and they're over there frying minnows. Frying minnows not going to feed a whole, get you full. You need to fry a whole fish, and they're wasting time. So,
all right, Theodis, let me ask you a very controversial question, but I want to get this out because I think it's really important. Are you black?
I'm half black and half Korean. My mother's
Okay.
Korean, and my dad was in the military for 28 years.
And we're grateful for your service, and I don't give a rip what color you are, okay? If you're, you
that
believe in God,
matter.
family, country, you're a friend of mine. But here's why I'm bringing this up. Are they dissing on you and your son because they hate Trump and you're just the collateral damage? Or do you think these people are really racists?
I think it's a mixture of both, and then it's
Really?
coming from. I really don't care what colors. I mean, if you saw what happened, I'm going to be honest with you. So my dad he told me about this show called American Bandstand, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
I think he said something
Oh,
about
I
Frankie
remember it
Lyman.
well. Dick
Yeah,
Clark.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
you remember Frankie Lyman came out on the stage for the first time, and everybody just stood there and looked at him and wouldn't clap. So it took me there that fast, and I said, "Dang, is this what it felt like?" Because that's what it felt like. I've never felt that in my life. And I said, so these are the same people that they don't talk about in history. I said, this is the history that they don't talk about. One was for bondaging people, and one wasn't. It wasn't the Republicans. It wasn't the Republicans. That was for slavery. It was the Democrats. Everybody know that. And
That's
how do
right.
they do it? They keep everybody mentally in bondage because guess what? They break up the homes. They want to sit there and put people on housing, Section 8, give them money and stuff, and then just hold them like they look. If you can't have your man stay here, but I'll tell you what, if you do, we're going to kick you out in the street. Well, guess what? They broke up the home in the 70s. I mean, they know what they're up to. It's always a scam, a scheme. You got Kamala Harris over there getting Megan Thee Stallion come over and going out there twerking and doing all this other stuff that's degrading women, and women's coming a long way. They've gone through a lot to even get to this point, and since she didn't have to work for it, she decides to sit there and degrade women like that, and I don't understand how anybody can even go along with that. That was supposed to be a political rally, not a twerking contest. And guess what?
Hey,
Nobody won.
amen to that. Now, do you have a wife, Theodis?
No, sir. I'm a single father.
All right, so you're taking care of your son all by yourself and doing a stellar job, sir.
Oh yes, sir.
Amen.
Well, my dad took care of 4 kids by himself after my mother was murdered. So, that's how my dad did. 28 years in the Air Force. He did Ed Sullivan Show. He was a country western blue harmonica player. You know, I mean, he's done a lot. So that's what I come from.
Well, I commend him for his service. I commend you for your service. I think your young boy has a very difficult life, but you know what? What a blessing it is to be part of his life. What a blessing it is. Now, I think of this Secret Service agent honorary designation. Did they do that already?
Oh yes, he's already got his badge. He's got everything. Then we went a second time with the director Curran and Secretary Nome, and we spent the whole time at the graduation and stuff. I think it was about a week ago. Then he's got Mr. Holman. He's going to meet him at the border, from what I understand, and they're going to give him his border patrol uniforms and all that. So
When is
he's
that
still getting
happening?
sworn in. That's on to be announced. We're just waiting for, I guess, the uniform to be done.
Man, we need Sheriff Mack. We need Sheriff Mack to attend that, Sheriff.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'd love to be there.
Well, where are you at, Sheriff Mack?
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, so I know we'll be coming there. Somebody just called me from over there, so we'll be coming there very shortly. Yeah. He'd love to do it. Now there's a record swearing coming up in St. Louis. I think the last count is 109 agencies are all going to swear him in simultaneously at one time.
We would love to be there. Would love to coordinate. Would love to cover this. I think this is a tremendous. I've created a website, Theodis, called callforcivility.com. And
Yes,
what
sir.
we need to take away from your young man DJ's experience is we have got to set aside partisan belligerence. We have got to set aside this negative. Look, it's great news that he's still alive, that every day is a blessing, that he's got this wonderful honor and a dream come true for a little kid. We need to set aside this partisan divide and stand for great news when we get the chance, sir. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, another thing is, you know, I'm very folks, you know, but I have to be straight with you. There are some good Democrats. Those representatives of the Democratic Party that was there at that speech, they are with the majority, and they make the rest of the Democratic Party look bad. And not all of them are bad, but they showed their true colors, and we can only go by what we saw in majority rules. So they should be upset with themselves by having them misrepresent them in there. And we got to do something about it. But like they've got an election coming down here in Houston. We had two Congress folks that graduated from this high school of life. Now they're gone. Now that's 2 in a row. So I'm thinking to myself, well, this must be a sign from God telling us, well, you know what? Well, I think the Honorable Greg Abbott should appoint somebody to that position, because that circle needs to be broken. The people and the taxpayers of Harris County and District 18 deserve a lot better than what they've been getting. They've got a lot of
that's for sure.
backhanded brother-in-law, sister-in-law deals going on. You got people over here that's got shares into Union Pacific, and you wonder why they haven't been sued for all the dioxide that's been dripping all over the rail yards. And you got the cancer clusters in 3rd, 5th, and Cashmere Gardens, and DeVarge's cancer came from the environment. So, that's why I'm upset. So, if
hold
anything,
on. Let me just slow you down, because this is incredible information that I want my listeners to understand. You're saying that DJ's cancer came from the environment?
Yes.
That's something, Sheriff Mack.
Yeah,
Where's Bobby Kennedy when we need him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But what do you actually mean came from the environment? What environment? What caused it?
You've got Union Pacific carrying all these toxic chemicals along there, and it's dripping the whole time on those railways and all that, whatever, while they're stopping up there for 2-3 hours dripping. And then you've got all these chemical plants, and I know that they're dumping crap all in there, because when Hurricane Harvey came through, all these barrels came and off the bedrock, was thrown all over the banks, and everybody was asking, what are these barrels? And they were like, oh, that's got dioxide in it. And I was like, what is that? So I started researching, and chemical causes cancer. So the county was getting paid for the chemical plants and paper mill to bury that in chemical and stainless steel barrels in brackish water, which is salt and fresh water mix. And then it was leaking, because it was leaking on the banks. And then you go down I-10, and you see signs that says, beware of mercury levels. That's not what's in the water. It's cancer-causing chemicals. And every time it rains and stuff, if you check the demographics, there's so much cancer, people with cancer in those areas. And like I said, 3rd, 5th, and Cashmere Garden, where they're building all that stuff up, and it's got nothing but cancer-causing chemicals in the Union Pacific. It hadn't been held accountable, and they should have been taken to court for that, and they didn't do it. You've got people that were in position before, whether it was county attorney, whatever, it don't matter. You had ample enough time, and you did not do it. And I'm very mad, because I actually see the degradation of DeVarge going down a little at a time, and the suffering that we have to do, and the mental and emotional trauma that parents have to, and family members have to endure watching their family members go through cancer is disheartening, and it breaks my heart, and I'm very upset. And sometimes people, God has to make you upset to want to make great change. And so, like for myself, I'm so mad at this point to where, they should have let this sleeping dog lay, and they want to turn this political. I said, well, you know what? We need to put a regular person in there that's been through the fire and been forged through the fire. And now I'm hardened to where I can get in there and I'm gonna do something. So I told everybody, so I'm gonna end up running for something. And I'm not stupid, but I got common sense, and God didn't bless everybody with common sense. You can see the other side when they were sitting on their hands.
You got that right. Theodis Daniel, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, proud father of DJ Daniel, the cancer survivor, 13 years old, in school right now, loves to go to school, loves life, kind to everyone, an honorary Secret Service agent. We're going to make him more than that. It's a great effort by President Trump. I'm glad that we know about this story. And what I find interesting is, man, can't we set aside politics when there's good news, when there's something to celebrate, when there's something to honor, when there's something good and right? And look, we're all God's children. I don't care what race anybody is. I don't care what party someone belongs to. Look, at some point, let's transcend all that and say we're all God's children. When are we going to act like it, for crying out loud? I'm mad about this story because I think, how dare you? My goodness gracious. Can you stay with us a little longer, Theodis?
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about you considering running for office. I want to talk about what you think the future is for DJ and what opportunities we have for him. Hopefully we can find a way forward. We need RFK involved in a lot of the allegations about chemicals and cancer and all this kind of stuff. We've got a lot of work to do. You're right about that. Anyway, stay there. The good sheriff, Richard Mack, Theodis Daniel, on your radio.
Pursuing liberty, using the Constitution as our guide. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It's Election Day, special elections today in a couple of states. Florida voters deciding 2 congressional races. The 1st district seat that was held by Republican Matt Gaetz is up for grabs. In the 6th congressional district, voters will fill the seat left vacant when Republican Michael Waltz took the job of National Security Advisor. In Wisconsin, a lot of money is poured into a state Supreme Court contest. The race has national implications. It could determine the fate of the Trump agenda. Republican Brad Schimmel and Democrat Susan Crawford vying for an open seat on Wisconsin's highest court. This week, the Senate taking a closer look at judicial activism.
Universal injunctions have been in the news after several were issued against President Trump's executive orders, most recently against the deportation of Venezuelan gang members in the U.S. illegally. A hearing is set to take place before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. Chairman Chuck Grassley says new laws will probably need to be passed to limit the use of injunctions. He says the changes should include limiting a judge's ruling to the issue before the court and for the parties involved, and only for a limited time. As he puts it, judges are to decide cases and not to be policymakers. Bob Agnew reporting.
Another element of the Trump agenda moves ahead tomorrow.
The president will be announcing a tariff plan that will roll back the unfair trade practices that have been ripping off our country for decades. He's doing this in the best interest of the American worker.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Nearly 24 states are taking the Trump administration to court over its decision to rescind billions of dollars in health funding. Job openings slipped to 7.6 million last month. Analysts say that points to a healthy but slowing job market in the U.S. On Wall Street this morning, stocks in the red. The Dow is down 432 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Kirk here. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? Mixed messages, fad diets, and quick fix solutions. Many people are left stuck and exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. If you feel this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you. And delaying action only makes it harder. I took a step 2 years ago and called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition and lost 40 pounds. I feel great and have kept it off. If you're ready to make a change for life, call 855-696-2020. That is 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy. Visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It works, everybody. Check it out at myphdweightloss.com.
Cybercrime is exploding. Take Sarah from Sweet Delights, whose world crumbled after having to close with not being able to bounce back. Small businesses are prime targets, but the right strategies can keep yours safe. Jay Hill, CEO of Network Providers, has co-authored The Cyber Playbook Simplifies Cybersecurity for Business Owners with Strategies to avoid costly breaches and fines. Build a strong cyber attack response. Secure your business with key protections. Cyber threats aren't slowing down, but you can stay ahead. Protect your business. Ensure its security for tomorrow. Get the Cyber Playbook today at networkprovidersinc.com/cyber-playbook or call 385-446-5500 now.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com. Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Thank you very much. That was a great break, and I love listening to the news. And folks, don't forget, this is Liberty Roundtable, and we've got a great guest with us today, Theodis Daniel. And Theodis, our listeners want to know a little bit more about DJ. Your 13-year-old son has been battling cancer, who appeared at the United States Congress when Trump gave his speech. And anyway, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I certainly saw this part. And I want to know, listeners want to know, who is DJ? What's his favorite sport? What does he like to do for fun? And who are his favorite ball players, if he has such, or who are his heroes? Tell us a little bit more about DJ.
Well, DJ is just to me, he's an ordinary 13-year-old. I mean, he likes to draw. I know one thing he likes to write people notes, and it's always got something to do with God. And, God loves you, pray. Yeah. Stuff like that. He just loves doing. He's selfless. He's funny. I know he likes to go to bed early. He's like an old person. And he says, "I'm like an old person, Dee. I'm like a grandma. I go to sleep around about 6:37. I don't know." And then he'll wake up about 4:30 in the morning too. But he doesn't really like video games too much. He loves giving hugs, rubbing ball heads. I mean, just little simple stuff like that.
Does he have a favorite sport?
He tried to play basketball, but he's limited. He can't do a lot. Like right now, he can't really bend over and tie his shoes no more. So that's a struggle for him.
But whether he plays or not, is his favorite sport basketball then?
He likes basketball. He likes fishing. I'll tell you, that is one dude
fishing.
You don't want to fish. Yeah. Look, we went fishing last time, and he caught 58 fish, and I didn't catch nothing. I swear, I was just like, man, I'm done. I'm done.
Weren't you standing next to him?
I was standing right there next to him, fishing the same spot. I just don't understand what happened.
Oh, that's cool.
All DJ's got to say is, "Come on, little fishy, come on."
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we go fishing, I don't care who catches them as long as I'm able to eat some of them, because I love fresh fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes sir.
We'll have to do that sometime.
Oh yeah, he'd love that. He definitely.
Well.
All right, so tell me where we go from here. What are your plans for DJ? What are his plans? What are your plans? There's a lot coming up still in terms of, the cool things that are going to happen on the border and some of these agencies and things like that, swearing them in, all that kind of stuff. What do you think the future for you guys will be? What are you looking at?
Well, he wants to go ahead and get confirmed for a bunch of Guinness World Records. I mean, he's got like almost 15 keys to cities. He's got hundreds of proclamated days. He's been sworn in with the most police departments you can think about. I mean, he's done a lot. So his goal of 1,000 has already is going to be taken by St. Louis there, and North County. And then after that, he says, "Well, Dee, I just want to go until my gas tank runs out." And he says, You know what that means?" I said, "Yeah, I know what that means." He said, "Well, I'll tell you anyway." He said, "That's when God calls you home. You never know."
That's
when
what
God's
DJ said?
you home. He says it all the time on all his interviews. He says it all the time.
So I had a chance. My son is going to be going to Oklahoma, and he's going to be serving Jesus Christ and speaking out and a missionary for a couple of years. And the reason I'm telling you this is he spoke in church, and when I got done, people are like, "Oh, your family's so nice, and you've raised a great son." And I just looked at him and I said, "I'm not really sure who's raising who around here."
Oh yeah.
Right? Doesn't it feel like that when these words of wisdom come out of these young people? You go, "Whoa, this is incredible."
Well, what the thing is, a lot of the kids, and we met a lot of children, and they're no longer here with us, but when they're in a situation where they're battling for their life and they're fighting through cancer, they can be 6 years old, but the way they carry themselves is like they're talking to like a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old. It's like they have an old soul in a little body. And so DeVarge always tells people, last year I was 12 going on 40, but since I'm 13, I'm actually 50 now, and I believe him.
Well, you got what happens is it brings out the best in people, oftentimes, and it brings out a real, they're forced to live beyond their years, and they're forced to deal with things that, I don't know how we deal with these things, but the Lord puts them up to the task, and I think He's got it right. And, I think we ought to have DJ send a letter to all members of Congress, and have him help us with this clarion call for civility idea that I have. What if we just sent a letter to them asking for civility?
Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea. I know that's a wonderful idea.
Anyway, we could talk to him about it if he's interested. I'll be willing to help or do whatever I can. I know you guys basically need a website as you continue to carry this forward too. If you want to get a hold of me after the show, I can probably help with that. I'm sure that you guys just don't have money growing on trees. Elon Musk told us money doesn't even grow on trees anymore. They just create it out of thin air. No need for trees. So, I'm sure you don't have as much money as the other guys, but we'll help all we can.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, I have to say, I don't know if you heard about Mr. Elon, and he gave us a Tesla truck.
Oh, what? Elon gave you guys a Tesla?
He gave us a Tesla truck, so it got delivered there, I think, the day before yesterday, and we went and saw it yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
Well, you guys got to find some private. Vehicle. Hold on, you got to find some private property and let DJ drive that dude.
Oh, I know. I'm sure there's a big parking lot out here. I could try to teach him how to drive it.
My son-in-law just test drove one of those, and personally, I have to tell you, I think it's one of the most the ugliest vehicles ever to be on the road, but it is one of the best vehicles ever. It is. My son-in-law was so impressed with it.
Oh
and
yeah.
Not only that, it's very fast.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he gave us the Cyber Beast, so that's the one that goes to 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. So we have that one in fully decked. Give us top line, and I just couldn't believe it because we didn't never ask him for a truck or nothing. DJ always jokes and stuff, so he was just like, I think a CNN anchor that he was talking to, and he was like, can you do me a favor? And she was like, yeah, what is that? He said, can you talk to who with the Tesla? And she said, Elon Musk. He said, yeah. He said, do you think when we get back to Houston, you think he can send down a Tesla truck? Basically, what he was asking if he could send one down to ride in. That's all he wanted to do. I didn't know he was going to give us no truck until later. We got touchdown, went to the mall, and it took us probably 2 hours to get like 100 feet. I ain't going to lie to you, so many people running up, they're taking pictures and stuff, and I just sat back and closed my eyes for a second and just listened to all the joy and laughter from people and so excitement, and just said, this is all what it's worth it. This is worth it. This is what I'm talking about.
But see, this is something that a nation can celebrate, though, right? We don't need any of I don't care what color somebody is or what their viewpoints are on politics, or I don't care about any of that. Can't we just go, yeah, and do a double thumbs up for this kind of stuff? I mean, where are we in America? How do we get back there?
Well, first of all, we got to start making people accountable for their behavior. We've got people running around. They're spoiled and they feel like they're entitled, and nobody's entitled. There's only two things you're entitled to, and that God grants you with. He's going to give you life, and He's going to give you death. That's the two that you got, and everything else in between is your choice. We've got choices now.
That right.
You want to be a good person, or you don't. Either way it goes. When God get ready to judge you, He's going to judge you for the things that you've done. So you can spend your life chasing that mighty dollar and being a hoarder. At the end of the day, all that for nothing, because guess what? You can't take it with you. But you can leave a legacy behind and a roadway and a pathway for the future to sit there and do great things and be a better version of themselves. That's what you can do. That's what God put us here for.
Amen to that. Theodis, I don't mean to get personal, but I do want to ask this. And just if I've crossed the line, then just tell me to shut up, okay?
Go ahead.
I don't know where the finances are, but when your child's got cancer, it cannot be inexpensive. Do you need a GoFundMe? Do you need what can we do to help with that kind of stuff? That's something I know a lot of people overlook in the public eye and everything, but it's something that's important and it's personal and it needs to be dealt with, and we the people can help, right?
Yes, sir. And I wasn't really worried about a GoFund. There is a GoFund that's been up for the last 4 or 5 years, but I've been questioned about it, saying, well, it's not that much in there. Well, because I don't really push it. I just get it done. I sell barbecue plates. we raise money to help people, bury folks. I mean, money for parking at the hospital. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff, but I never ask nobody for anything. You know, I just try to get it done. So I was kind of.
Hold on a minute. What do you mean you sell barbecue plates? You do barbecue?
Oh yes, sir. I'm a brisketologist. I got a PhD in it. And
hey, man, and you're in Texas?
Oh, you know it. You know it.
You're in Houston?
Yes, sir.
You're in Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to come see you then and take you out to lunch because I got a trip planned for Houston. Hang tight. I want to talk to you about it on the break. I'll call you after that. Stay there. Got one more quick segment after the break, okay? Hang tight. You're listening to the one and only Liberty Roundtable Live. This is Solutions Radio.
Abby Johnson was once director of a Planned Parenthood clinic in Bryan, Texas. After a moral crisis, she quit, and now she campaigns against what she once endorsed.
They implement abortion quotas in all of their clinics.
What do you mean quotas?
You have to perform a certain number of abortions every month. One of the reasons that I left...
Are they explicit about that?
Yes. It's in your budget, right there on the line item. One of the reasons I left Planned Parenthood was because in a budget meeting I was told to double that abortion quota. And for me, as someone who had spoken to the media and had said, you know, we're about reducing the number of abortions, we're about, you know, prevention, all of these other services, I was shocked to hear this.
You actually worked at a Planned Parenthood, give us some sense of the relative number of abortions.
Okay, abortions, Planned Parenthood provides over 330,000 abortions a year. They are the largest single abortion provider in our country.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
Sheriff Mack, the further we go in this, the more I'm just digging it. The conversation's great. Brothers in Liberty standing together, talking about what's most important, talking about things of solutions, talking about opportunities, talking about hopes and dreams. And what a blessing it is, Sheriff.
Yeah, it is. And it sounds like DJ is very almost precocious with his feelings for life and his religious convictions and how he shares that with people, and he loves to write, and he leaves people notes, and he hugs people. What a friendly, attractive young man. And I love his zest for life, and that he loves to go fishing, and he's just a normal kid that has some real sensitivity about him, especially towards loving the Lord and sharing that with others. So I can't wait to meet him, and I'd love to shake his hand and maybe go to lunch with you, except I think we ought to have our brisketologist provide that dinner, and we'll pay him. But anyway, my hat's off to you, Theodis, and thank you for the work that you've done, and for your fair and honest attitude towards politics and life. And I congratulate you, sir, for the son that you've raised, and how blessed we are to get to know you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Couldn't agree more. Now, tell me about these plates, though. Do you actually sell them? Do you have a barbecue restaurant, or do you do?
I pull my smoker up after I smoke those briskets for 26 to 28 hours, low and slow, And then I pull up. I only make sandwiches with Texas toast, and everything's bigger in Texas, so that sandwich is probably about 6 to almost 7.5 inches tall from the plate. So you need 2 hands to eat it, and then you'll probably sleep with a little barbecue sauce dripping off your chin. We do 3 meat plates. Doesn't matter if you want double sausage, triple sausage, you want whatever. It's all the same price. You want 3 meat, 3 meat, 3 meat.
What do? You cater this, or what do you do?
No, we usually go to a parking lot at a grocery store, and they'll let us set up, and then we'll raise money and do whatever we need to do.
Okay,
and,
so you barbecue to raise money.
Yes, we raise money to fund our stuff so we can get them where we need to go, and donate some money to have some extra money to donate off to other people. Like we just gave about $8,000 or $9,000 of brand new clothes to the domestic violence place called Haven for Hope. I just took that over and dropped that off, and then now he wants to get some other stuff done for kids that doesn't have clothes and shoes. He wants to feed the homeless, and we just went out and fed the homeless folks last week. He wants to go again. That's some other stuff for like transitional housing, and we've already got that already laid out for that. I already got that plan. I just ain't gonna let the cat out the bag yet, because people like to steal it. So I'm gonna hold on to it until we get the first one out.
Yes, sir.
And homeless veterans, and we got awareness for all kind of stuff that needs to be done, because we've actually been in everything you can think about. Everything you can think about, we've actually experienced it. And so we're going to take whatever bad stuff that happened or negative things, we're going to turn around and just make awareness for it and help people as much as we can. I told my son I got less days in front of me than I do in back of me. So I got to make a difference at this point, because I want to be enjoying my life. So I said I'll do maybe 8 more years of servitude, and I'd like to just live my life after that.
Yeah, you want to get to where it's like when you get to the Lord in the judgment bar of Christ, he says, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, and these folks here that were sitting on their hands, this is a message to them. You do realize that God didn't put you here to be comfortable, and y'all are too comfortable with being in your nasty attitudes and your ways. But he got ways to fix you. Trust and believe that. He does. He does. He has ways to get your attention.
Amen. And my point isn't to trash those people. My point is to say I'm disappointed, and I think we're better than that. Sheriff, do you want to respond to that? I'm disappointed in their reaction, and I think we're better than that as a people. When the Germans and the Americans can set aside their guns on Christmas Eve in war and sing Christmas carols and lay down the sword, if you will, and kind of be beyond that, we need to do that too. And that's my clarion call for civility. We've got to work on this. Sheriff Mack?
Well, you've had that out for a long time, Sam, and I've totally backed you on that. And this is probably one of the stark examples of what you've been talking about, that we be fair and honest in how we treat everyone and not let politics get in the way of that. And both Republicans and Democrats are guilty of that. Right now, it's hugely on the side of the Democrats. And this whole thing about that they cannot say ever, you know what? Trump has a point here. We don't like that he picked Elon Musk, but Elon Musk has brought up some very good points, and he's trying. He obviously doesn't need the money. He is not out for himself. He's trying to do a good job, and President Trump does not have to have only people working with him who've been elected. His cabinet has not been elected. He can have advisors, all he wants, that aren't elected. The question is, what are they doing to help everyday Americans? What are they doing to get rid of waste and fraud? And why won't the Democrats address that issue, waste and fraud?
Yeah, everybody should be on that. Come on.
To do that. Yeah, of course. And so that's where I'm at with it all. And if we can't be civil with each other, then I say we get rid of all of them and start over.
Well, all I know is I want to make TJ and his father honorary posse members, Sheriff. What do you say to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to do that and give him a shirt and a ball cap and a lapel pin and anything else we have with all our merchandise. So, yes, we would love to participate with that. And maybe we could be there that day when he gets sworn in by 100 different agencies.
We're going to coordinate that to the best of our ability. Theodis, as you've gone through this whole thing, what's your biggest takeaway? If you could impart words of wisdom, and you've been through this thing to this date, and everything else, the ups and downs, the fear for your son, the faith that you have in Christ, knowing that it'll be all right, your son's incredible adult attitude about this whole thing, and his understanding is beyond ours in many ways. As you've gone through this whole thing, what's your greatest takeaway that you want to share with the American people?
Greatest takeaway? Well, listen and look at DeVarge and the story. And that is a small version of an adult, right? And look how he's a great person. He's happy. He doesn't worry about anything. I mean, he told a lady the other day on the news, he says, I got 3 new tumors, but guess what? I don't care. and that's the way he lives his thing. So, don't worry about the small stuff. You know what I mean? But God tests you every day to see how faithful you are. So sometimes he puts you in unfavorable, uncomfortable situations because he wants to make sure that you are a true and faithful believer. He doesn't like friendships. You don't want a fair weather friend. You want yourself a true friend. A fair weather friend is going to tell you things that you want to hear. A true friend is going to tell you things that you need to hear, even if it hurts your feelings. So like I said, just pray, be positive. I don't care what the doctor tells you. If you don't accept it and you say, I'm going to make the best out of this, you will make it through every time. But if you accept it, guess what? If you don't use your heart, you lose your heart. And the old folks used to say, if you don't use it, you lose it. So just stay faithful, be nice to each other, be kind, put your differences aside, and I promise you it'll get a lot better. I promise you it will. As you can see, I got a kid that had 5 months to live, and he's still here, and that's because his attitude is wonderful and amazing, and he treats people very, very well.
Resilience is the term they use for this, Sheriff.
Yeah, and his attitude and his zest for life are, I think, a key component of all of that. God bless DJ and his dad and his teachers and his friends, other family, and God bless us to follow his great example. And I hope that the Democrats will repent and focus on the issue here. Focus on DJ and his wonderful attitude towards life and the Lord. And let's leave the politics out of it and just do what's right and do what's best.
Comes down to hope and faith in God Almighty. And when I say God, I don't want to dive down into the theological differences among everybody. I'm just telling you hope and a higher source of power, right? The author of our liberty, the author of, who we are. We're sons and daughters. We're brothers and sisters. And as Theodis wisely pointed out, hey, your neighbor isn't just the guy that lives next door to you. Your neighbor's anybody that you come across. And we need to be kind and loving and patient and to our neighbors. And we need to have a clarion call for civility. Thaddeus, I'll call you after the show. Let's put some of this together. I will take you out to lunch. I am going to Houston, and I want to spend some time with you guys and get to know DJ, and I want to do everything we can to help the cause, because you guys are not only doing a great job for DJ, but you're doing a great job for all kinds of people that are suffering from health issues. Last point, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, we'll put together a website for you guys and everything else, and then I got to taste some of that barbecue. That's all I'm saying. When you can taste good barbecue and know your money's going to the cause, a great sacred cause, then you go, man, I'm in for this. That's all I got to say. All right, Sheriff Mack, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sam. Good to
Theodis
meet you.
Daniel, thank you, sir. Tell DJ we love him. We're grateful for his attitude, his work, and his incredible leadership. Thanks, everybody. I'm Sam Bushman. This is the one and only Liberty Roundtable Live, where we have a clarion call for civility. Check it out, callforcivility.com. We are nationally syndicated by the Loving Liberty Radio Networks, lovingliberty.net. Spread the word, share the love. Download our iPhone and Android apps. You can listen anytime, anywhere you like. Let's stand together for the sacred cause of liberty, shall we? God save the Republic.